I am priest and officer of 50, Kasiyad of I.S.U.P.K. Atlanta. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 125th Street in West, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahanna. Before I get into tonight's topic, I'm going to do as I always do and give you the itinerary for our week. If you're in class yesterday, which was Monday, that's our history class. Tonight, Tuesday, is the brotherhood class. Wednesday is the biblical law class. Thursday is the scripture breakdown class. Friday is the Lashawan Kodash class, which is our original language in the Hebrew on Salakia. And then on Saturdays, our Sabbath class is from 12 to 1. Afterwards, we go to Atlanta, we get in the streets, we blaze to try to teach our people who they are and that the white man is the devil. With that, we're going to go ahead and get into our topic. Salaki, is there anyone else on the call besides Sister Brenda?
Salaki, sir. Shalom, Lord in Christ. Young man Erskine, check it in.
Shalom, Lord in Christ. You two up? You two up?
Shalom, sir.
Excellent.
Shalom. Yahanna, Shemya, Shebrakatah. Triple Zoya Allah, reporting in.
Shalom, Yahanna, Shemya, Shebrakatah. Triple Zoya. How are you doing?
Doing too well, sir, yourself?
I'm too up. The water for asking.
Sign Christ.
We're going to start in just a second here. Okay. Once again, for those who don't know, who didn't hear me, the topic for tonight's class is the enemy from within, the black Christian church. Now, of course, we all know who the devil is. Those who are in the truth, those who call into this class, we know who our oppressor is. But tonight, we're not going to focus on them too much. We're going to focus on that enemy that is within the black community that has been destroying us. And that enemy that has been within the black community that has been destroying us is the black Christian church.
Right.
We're going to talk about these pastors and how much they don't love you. Although that they tell you they do, they actually hate you. We're going to get a real deep understanding of why we need to get out of the Christian church and we need to run from these black pastors.
That's right.
We're going to discuss one of the people who started the downfall of the brotherhood by using lies in the Christian church, and that was Martin Luther King. He's one of those pastors, he's one of those, I would call them super coons, that helped with our downfall, with our demise. But there's a new leadership now. There are new brothers out here who are coming forth with this truth. Been coming forth since 1969, and that is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge.
Right.
So today, as we get started, I'm just going to ask, because we all more than likely started out in the Christian church, hearing the lies from the pastor, and one of the things that he always talked about is making sure that you give, making sure that you tithe. That's one of the things he makes sure. He passed that plate around 2 or 3 times. He'd tell you that the law was dead, but the law that he didn't tell you was dead is tithing, which it isn't. We know that the laws aren't dead.
That's right.
But they'll tell you that you need to tithe. And they would weigh just how much you love the Lord on how much you would give. We know that in the Christian church, you aren't serving the Lord. Understand that. You are not serving the Lord in the Christian church. You are serving your pastor.
That's right.
Whatever your pastor needs, he's going to make sure that he goes to his congregation for it. But can the congregation come to him for any of their needs?
That's right.
He'll tell you, well, get with brother so-and-so, and get with deacon so-and-so, and get with this sister, and get with that sister, and they'll come up together, and they'll have a committee, and they'll decide what we need to do in order to help you. So you got sisters and brothers out there who are hungry. Sisters and brothers out there who don't know how they're going to pay their bills. When they go to the Christian pastor, the black Christian pastor in their church, they get absolutely nothing. Nothing. So we're going to discuss those things. I'm going to show you just how much the black Christian church hates black people. So with that, I'm going to see where I'm going to get started at. Because once again, like I said, we talk about our oppressor all the time. We're not going to go into that tonight. We're going to go into the weapon of brotherhood. Because if we're operating in brotherhood within the black community, we won't be fooled or deceived by these false prophets in this black Christian church. You know, we'll be able to, I guess you can say, self-sustain within our community because we're operating in righteousness. The black Christian church doesn't operate in righteousness because they don't follow the law.
Right.
They have no idea what brotherhood is. So therefore, there is nothing that is changed with them.
That's right.
If you go out and you look on the street corners, next to the church, someone could be selling dope. If you go out and look on the street corners next to the church, you might see a prostitute, someone being murdered, carjacking, anything in the very same place where you got $1 million church where they're bringing in $50 or $60 million a year, but the community still is destroyed. The community is still impoverished. So we're going to talk about these vipers and how they've been stealing from you. Right now, anyone on the phone have anything to say about what I'm talking about tonight? Feel free to speak up because I know that you've tithed in the Christian church. Now you know when you tithe here in the I.S.U.P.K, you know what's happening. You know that it's being done in spirit and in truth. You know that it's going towards helping your people. Then you had no idea where your money was going. Well, no, I take that back. When you saw him come into church with those $800 alligator shoes on, you knew where your tithe was going.
Right.
When you saw him pulled up in that Mercedes, you knew where your tithe was going. When you see him pull up in that $1,200 suit, you knew where your tithe was going. And for many Christians, unfortunately, they support that.
That's right.
Because they'll say, I want my pastor to look good. That's what a lot of the black women Christians will say. I want my pastor to look good. There's nothing wrong with him coming in here with a nice suit on. There's nothing wrong with him coming in with some nice shoes on and a nice car.
Right.
The Lord blessed him with that. But I'm going to tell you, you don't have to have all that to teach this truth. Look at the brothers in I.S.U.P.K. We go out in combat boots. We go out in all black.
Right.
We go out in T-shirts.
Right.
We go out with headbands.
That's right.
You don't see us in no suit and tie. That's what we go out in. We don't have to have anything fancy. That's not required. Imagine if Yahanna were to come out and look like some of your Christian pastors. You wouldn't listen to him either. Right. You put it like this, you wouldn't learn anything from him. Because you haven't learned anything from your Christian pastors. Nothing. They have absolutely wasted our time and money all these years from teaching us absolutely nothing.
Right.
They've done nothing but sell us out. They've helped or they've aided in the corruption in our communities. They don't go out there on the streets to try to help. What can they do? What can they say? What can they come out and teach the people and teach them of why they're being shot? You know what they'll do? You got to forgive them.
Right.
That's all they'll say. But they'll tell you to forgive. And I said I wasn't going to talk about the oppressor. But they'll tell you to forgive your oppressor. But what if little John goes out there and he does something to you? Are they ready to call the police?
Right.
They're ready to throw the book at him.
That's right.
They don't want to give him a chance.
Right.
So tonight we're going to expose your Christian leadership. We're going to expose your Eddie Longs. We've talked about them. We're going to expose your Creflo Dollars. We're going to expose your TD Jakes. There's several of them that I'm going to discuss, and I'm going to give you some background as to why they're snakes,
That's right.
why they're thieves. I'm going to show you just how much they don't give a damn about you. So before I do, once again, anyone on the phone or Officer Nakashawan, you have anything to say, sir?
I'm good, man. Go ahead and do your thing.
Excellent, excellent. Sister Brenda? Young man Erskine?
Sir.
Okay, young man Erskine? Okay. I'll continue.
Lock it at this time, sir. Lock it.
Con, excellent. So we're going to take a look into the black community, and we're going to talk about the threat that's coming from the Christian church. And understand, we're going to stay within the topic of the class, so I'm not going to lean towards the oppressor too much. But we're going to understand tonight that you aren't serving the Lord. Once again, you're serving your Christian pastor. So with that, young man Erskine, if you would, I want you to pull up the book of Matthew, chapter 17.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead. Who's this?
Salakia, sir. Most High in Christ. Young man Charles checking in.
Yeah, man, Charles, what's going on?
Tawab, sir. How about you?
Excellent, excellent. I'm Tawab. Thanks for asking. Good to hear you. Let me get you down for attendance. Just one second. Okay. Come on, God. Absolutely, absolutely. Before we get class going real good, we have a brother on the phone that definitely needs to get a shout out. Young man Charles, I'm going to let y'all know right now, we have some excellent young men that have been coming to the school with young man Erskine and young man Charles. And young man Charles, has a skill set to come in and get some things done as far as when it comes to maintenance and or cleaning. Give him a shout out and his rib.
Damn right.
This brother comes in with his wife. Last Sunday he brought his children with him, beautiful daughters and son. And when it comes to the cleaning, they have their own business. So I don't even have to ask them or tell them to do anything. They just come in and get right to it.
Right.
So I just want to say, it's excellent to have brothers in here who want to see the school look good, who want to see the school smell good and be presentable. This is the Lord's tenement.
That's right.
So I definitely want to shout them brothers out.
That's right.
And his rib.
That's right.
Now as we continue, young man Erskine.
Tawab, sir.
Oh yeah, the Bob Warrior.
Khan.
Give me the book of Matthew, chapter 17, verses 15 and 16, Baba Kashah. The book of
Khan.
We're going to get right into it tonight. We're going to go in on these pastors. I'm going to make you want to leave. If you know anybody who goes to the Christian church, you make sure that they watch this class.
Right.
Because they're going to find out that Pastor Porkchop has been lying to them. That he absolutely hates them. You got that scripture for me, Baba Kashah?
Khan. You said 15, sir?
The book of Matthew, chapter 17, verses 15 and 16.
Khan.
Go ahead.
Matthew 17 and 15. Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed.
Go ahead.
For oft times he falleth into the fire and oft into the water. And 16. And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him.
And now stop right there for a second. What I'm wanting you to understand is that I'm going to read that one more time in the book of Matthew, chapter 17, verses 15 to 16. Oh, go ahead.
All right. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 17, verse 15. Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed. For oft times he falleth into the fire and oft into the water. Verse 16. And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him.
Now, if you're looking at that right there, you're saying that have mercy on my son, for he's a lunatic and sore vexed. For oft times he falls into the fire and oft times into the water. They were going, doing a whole bunch of different things. These people, they're going back and forth. They couldn't get it together with what they're learning. These pastors, you can tell that they don't know the truth because they're going back and forth with different doctrines. They don't stick to one thing. And this isn't, I brought him to the disciples and they could not cure him. They couldn't cure him because they don't know. They have no cure because they have no knowledge. They have no wisdom of what the scripture says.
Right.
So it's letting you know that they couldn't cure him. There was nothing that they could do for him. If you could, give me Matthew 24 and 11. Baba Kashah.
Matthew, the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 11. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many.
Now, these false prophets are your Christian pastors, and they are going to deceive many, and that's what they've been doing. They've been doing this on every black corner in every black neighborhood for years.
That's right.
They have been deceiving you, telling you that if you give this, then they can do this. How many black churches do you know have a building fund? All of them.
That's right.
They all have a sick and shut-in fund. They're always having to store up their riches for in case they need to go do this for those who are in need, but you never see them out on the street.
That's right.
They'll tell you we need this so that we can fix this in the church. But guess what? That pipe that's busted in the church has been busted.
Right.
They'll tell you they need it so they can fix the parking lot. But guess what? The parking lot is still destroyed.
That's right.
So you have to ask yourself, what is going on? What are they doing with that money? Well, while the people aren't getting served and while the parking lot is still destroyed and everything in the church is still falling apart, guess what your pastor's driving in? He's driving in a Mercedes.
That's right.
He's still looking good. He doesn't give a damn about anyone on that street. He wants to make sure that he looks good. He's boastful and he's proud. He wants to keep up this image while his people are destroyed.
That's right.
He's leading them astray is what he's doing. He's doing absolutely nothing for them. If you could, give me the book of Jeremiah chapter 23 verses 21, Baba Shah. We're going to get into these passages, and I'm going to show you, by using these precepts, letting you see that the Most High is telling us, he's warning us of our own people and what they're going to be doing, these false prophets of our own people and how they're going to act towards us. You're going to understand that they have no brotherhood for you. You're going to understand that they absolutely hate you and that their love is for the love of money,
Right.
not for the love of their people.
Right.
That's why the communities continue to look the way they look. You have that, sir?
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 21. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. Verse 22.
Well, hold it right there for me, sir. He said, I didn't send these prophets. He's telling you now that he didn't send them, yet they ran. So these prophets, they came to lie to you.
Right.
These prophets, they came to tell you that the law is no more.
Right.
They came to tell you that they need your tithe, though. They came to tell the sisters, if he isn't doing what he needs to do, then you can leave him.
Right.
They came to tell you that it's okay for you to divorce as long as you're happy. That's what they came to tell you. They came to lie to you. They ran and they said these things, but he never sent them.
Right.
Go ahead with verse 22, Bob Kashah.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 22. But if they had stood in my counsel and had caused my people to hear my words, then they should have turned them from their evil way and from the evil of their doings.
Right there. Now, as you can hear right there, they would have turned them from their evil way. Well, guess what? Your black Christian pastors haven't turned anyone from their evil ways.
That's right.
Look at the community around them. Look within the church. Within the church, you got the deacons going in the back room, getting on with the deaconess, but it's not his rib, it's somebody else's. You got the pastors hooking up with several of the sisters in the church.
Right.
And it's somebody else's husband. I mean, it's somebody's husband, or it could be somebody's husband. So he's sleeping with the women and with the men. You have to understand that the Christian church is absolutely destroyed. They haven't turned anyone away from their wrongdoings. Think about this. If you look at the Christian church, it's something that I've seen since going to church, where you have homosexual men who are the choir directors.
Right.
They actually have work in the church where they can go up and they can lead the choir. Now, we understand that gospel music is homosexual. It has nothing to do with the Lord. And now you can see why it's homosexual, because the people who are leading their choir are homosexuals.
That's right.
Now, if they are going to a place that's the truth, why hasn't they changed from being an abomination?
That's right.
They're in the church, getting the Holy Ghost, jumping and dancing and spinning around, but not one time have they changed and said, you know what, I don't want to have my back busted up on by another man.
Right.
They continue to do abominable things with men. But you're supposed to be in the house of the Lord.
Right.
They put you to work and say, come on in. We can use your talents. You don't have to change. We love you. Just make sure you tithe. As long as you tithe, then you can be as gay as you want. You can have all the gay sex you want to have. Just make sure you tithe.
Right.
And I want to make sure we have the best choir too. But make sure you tithing. Oh, so I can come in there and I can twirl around and do whatever I want? Absolutely. And that's what you see in every Christian church.
Right.
They think that their choir is what sells them. And actually that's what it is. Because it's definitely not the truth. So if you listen to the music, and I'm not going to go into that tangent, but if you listen to the music, you can hear the homosexuality in it.
That's right.
And that's what you want from your church? That's what you want from your Christian pastor, from your leader? You want him to operate like that? You want him to employ people who aren't going to, they're not going to change. They want you to be gay.
That's right.
So if they can come into the church, the black Christian church, and remain gay, then guess what? What evil has he changed? Just as the scripture says. Nothing has changed within them. They've stayed the exact same way. So as I continue, I'm going to let you see that the Christian pastor, there's one thing that is on his mind, and that's himself.
That's right.
You know, there isn't any brotherhood within him. He'll tell you that he loves you, but we know that he doesn't.
That's right.
Because if he loved you, you wouldn't have to be begging for him to pay your light bill. If he loved you, you wouldn't have to be begging just to get some food.
Right.
If he loved you, he would tell you about these laws, statutes, and commandments.
That's right.
But since he doesn't follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, he has no idea of what it is to love or how to love his people.
Right.
He loves money, and he hates himself, actually.
That's right.
You would think that maybe because he wants himself to look good and he wears these $1,200 shoes and suits, that he loved himself. But actually, he doesn't. He hates himself because he doesn't know the truth. He's doing the work of the oppressor. He's doing his work for him. So essentially, he's showing you that he hates himself and he hates you, black man and black woman.
That's right.
That's what he's showing you. So I'm going to give you an example of just how much he hates you. I'm going to pull up an article and show you what our communities look like while the Christian church, the black Christian church, has raked in $600 billion since the 80s. And in case you didn't hear me, I said $600 billion since the 80s. Let's see here. This article is from the Black Star. Now, it's a few years old, so to let you know that at this point, basically, the number has gone up. It didn't stay low, but it says here, there's 8 black pastors whose net worth is 200 times greater than the folks in their local community. Understand that their net worth is 200 times greater than the people who live in the community in the churches where they have their congregation. Absolutely insane. That's ridiculous. But guess what we do? We continue to go and support that. So I'm going to talk about Creflo Dollar. Here it says, Creflo Dollar is a senior pastor at World Changes Church International with a net worth of $27 million. Now, that's not what his church brings in. That's him.
That's right.
He leads one of the nation's largest mega churches located in College Park, Georgia. Now, young man Erskine, you live in off on Nashville. Isn't that the College Park area? Young man
I
Erskine.
know what kind.
Okay. Now let me ask you a question. In that area, does it look like you have people who are living high off the hog, as they say? Are there people balling in College Park?
Wow, sir.
But yet, Creflo Dollar's church, where he makes $27 million, where his net worth is $27 million, his own, but the people who live in that area are 200 times less than what he makes. So you live out there and you see what's going on. So does it look like the black Christian pastor, Creflo Dollar, is doing anything for the people in College Park?
Wow, sir. Slocky, if I may, his church is like right up the street from you.
Think about that. Think about that. He has a church right up the street from you. Yet, wasn't it what? I'm going to say, what was it, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, where 3 brothers were just killed in front of your apartment?
I don't know what kind.
So look at that. These things that are continuing to happening, brothers being murdered in apartments right down the street, while his net worth is $27 million, and nothing has changed. Matter of fact, when was the last time you saw any of the world changers? Listen to the name, the world changers. When was the last time that you saw any of them out on the street teaching the word and or giving food out? When was the last time you saw that, young man Erskine?
Slocky, sir.
I was asking, when was the last time you saw anybody from his church out handing out food or teaching this truth?
Since I've been out here, sir, I have never.
And you never will.
Right.
You never ever will, because you know what? Creflo Dollar hates you. He hates you. He hates your brother. He hates the brother who lives next door to you. He hates all the children and everyone in that neighborhood.
That's right.
Everyone on that street. He hates them.
Sir.
Go ahead.
Slocky, sir. Creflo Dollar, like I've passed a few of his churches. He not only have something in College Park.
Right.
He got a big mega church in Marietta.
Right.
And one out in Gwinnett.
That's right. Yeah, he does. I've actually been by, not to it, but by it for sure. So what's crazy is he's going to put one up there in Marietta and up there in Gwinnett. Those areas are probably a little bit nicer than College Park, but at the same time, he isn't doing anything for the black people in those areas.
That's right.
So I'm going to continue to read. It says he leads one of the nation's largest mega churches located in College Park. Dollar has a host of television shows, Changing Your World.
Slocky, sir.
Go ahead.
The thing about it is it don't matter where he go, he's feeding the same poison wherever he put the church, and it's corrupting the neighborhood.
There you go. There you go. That's exactly what he's doing. He is feeding, but it's poison. It's poison, and it's killing our people. He's destroying the nation of Israel wherever he goes. Think about that. Right. He is destroying. This is the same brother who said, if you follow the law, then you sinning. If we're supposed to follow the law, no. If the Lord comes back and he destroys America, what is it? Do we have to apologize, or he has to apologize to us? This man has lost his mind. He's lost his mind. And I'll continue to read. And it says here, the New York Times reported the Dollar owns $1 million Atlanta home, drives a Rolls Royce, is transported by a private jet, and has a $2.5 million Manhattan apartment. But he loves you.
Good night.
He loves you, and he loves his people, right? Every single Sunday when he's doing his World Changes church, he's telling you that he loves his people. He's telling you what you got to do so that you can be like him, I guess. He's making sure that he's getting your W-2s, because you know he's done that. At his church, they get your W-2s so they can see what you make, to make sure that you're tithing properly.
That's right. To
make sure that he can keep the gas in his jet. It says the average annual income in College Park, Georgia, is $29,640. That's poverty.
That's right.
You are, if that's the average income, the average annual income, you live in check to check. Unless you budgeting and you eating bologna sandwiches. And believe me, I get it, because I've done it and I do it. At the end of the day, you got a man that's worth $27 million, while the people in the area where one of his churches is make $29,000 a year. They won't see $1 million in 2 lifetimes. But that's what he does.
That's right.
So I'm going to go ahead and continue to show you how much your black pastors love you. I'm going to Go to another article here. Now, of course, this pastor, he's no longer with us, but it's Bishop Eddie Long. And of course, you know, we talk about these pastors on during class. We talk about them on Saturdays when we go out there and we're blazing in the streets to let you know that they see you, that you've seen these pastors, and yet they've done nothing for you.
That's right.
So if we're looking at Eddie Long, let me tell you what it says here. Bishop Eddie Long, the preacher at New Birth Missionary Baptist Church in Lithonia, a suburb outside of Atlanta, Long has a net worth of $5 million. Well, he had a net worth of $5 million.
Right.
According to a 2005 Atlanta Journal-Constitution investigation, during the period between 1997 to 2000, Long received more than $3.7 million worth of compensation and benefits from his non-profit charity, Bishop Eddie Long Ministries. Think about that. In those 3 years, $3.7 million. For what? So he can come in and wear tight shirts and mess with boys.
Right.
And have a bad Jerry curl or whatever that was on his head. And of course, you know, he's no longer with us. I'm not trying to say anything that people don't already know. But at the end of the day, this man was robbing his people.
Right.
Creflo Dollar is robbing his people. I'm going to continue reading. It says the newspaper investigation concluded that Long was given a $1.4 million 6-bedroom, 9-bathroom home on 20 acres of land in Lithonia, drives a $350,000 luxury Bentley automobile, and more than $1 million in salary, including $494,000 in 2000. Now, of course, like I said, this is an older article because he's no longer with us. But you can look at the amount of money that this man was making. I don't know about you, but I don't get paid to come up here and tell y'all this truth. And what I'm telling you will save your life. What the brothers in the I.S.U.P.K tell you is saving your life. So if anyone's getting paid or should get paid, it should be the brothers in the I.S.U.P.K. Now understand what I'm saying to you. I'm not telling you that we want to get money because we're going to have rulership. We're going to have rulership. Understand that.
That's right.
But you have to see that these Christian pastors, they aren't thinking about rulership. They're thinking about ruling over you. They're thinking about ruling your pockets,
Right.
ruling your bank account, but they don't give a damn about you.
That's right.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up two more. Let's see here. Uh-oh. Good old Bishop T.D. Jakes. Now it says here, T.D. Jakes is a Texas pastor with a net worth of $18 million. Understand, this right here is a few years old. So I'm sure that's gone up. It says T.D. Jakes has earned his wealth as chief pastor of the Potter's House, a non-denominational megachurch with 30,000 members located in Dallas. Understand this. You got 30,000 dead people in one place,
Right.
giving him his money.
That's right.
30,000 dead members. They know nothing. They have no life.
That's right.
It could end for them and it'd be a wrap. Nothing. 30,000 members. What does that mean? The numbers mean nothing. Understand that. The Christian church has millions and millions of followers and millions of dead people.
Right.
That's what that is. And when I say dead people, I'm not talking about the oppressed or anyone outside of the nation of Israel. But if you are an Israelite and you are inside the Christian church, you're dead.
Right.
You're dead until you wake up and you come into this truth. That's why you see the I.S.U.P.K every single weekend out trying to teach our people to wake up and come back to these laws, statutes, and the commandments.
That's right.
Trying to teach you that these pastors hate you. The black pastors can't stand you. The black Christian church is a drug to you. And you're addicted to it. You're addicted to Christianity. And it's slowly destroying you. You are learning absolutely nothing. As I continue to read here, it says here about T.D. Jakes with his 30 million members located in Dallas, Texas. He also is a part of the Trinity Broadcasting Network and Black Entertainment Television. Both air his services and evangelistic sermons. It says Jake has been called America's best preacher by Time magazine. That's what they said. You know why? Because he condones homosexuality.
That's right.
That's why. Because anything the oppressor tells him to do, he's going to say, yes, master, sir. That's why. Because he's not going to go against the grain. That's why he's the nation's best preacher. Because he hates his people. He's a black man who has sold his people out. That's why he is the nation's best preacher.
Right.
That's why they look at him that way. It says here he reportedly lives in a $1.7 million mansion in southern Dallas. The average median annual income in the community he serves is $56,000. Now, understand, $56,000 is a decent income, but it's number one, it's in Dallas. We're talking about Dallas and not College Park.
Right.
So this man is making millions to go and tell people lies. When are you going to get angry? Salakia, when are you going to wake up and be upset that your money has been stolen from you all this time? When are you going to understand that your grandmama, who been giving thousands of dollars every single year to these nasty, stinking pastors, going broke to make sure that they have everything that they need, and guess what? You don't have nothing, and she's sick as hell and can't get nothing for her diabetes shots. She can't do nothing. She can't do nothing but eat and gain weight and sit there and listen to them lies.
Right.
When are you going to wake up and get angry at that and say, you know what, there's got to be a better way? We've been putting all this money into the community or into these pastors, and nothing has changed around us. Then there's one more pastor I'm going to share with you, and then I'm going to move on. Some of you may have not heard of this pastor. But this pastor's name is Charles Blake. It says here, the Memphis Flyer reports that Bishop Charles Blake of the West Angeles Church of God in Christ earns $900,000 a year, owns a 10,000 square foot mansion in Beverly Hills, while most of his congregation lives in impoverished South Central LA. The church boasts 20,000 members weekly. In South Central Los Angeles, the median annual income is $27,000. Now, for everyone listening and anyone watching this class, I'm sharing facts with you. The thing about it is some of these are older articles, so their net worth has probably gone up since then. But look at the people that are around them.
Right.
I continue to bring that point back because you have to understand that nothing has changed. When I was a Christian, and I would go out with these Edomites and decide, you know what, I'm going to hit the streets so I can go out here and teach the people. And I would see a church on one corner, and then we would walk another block, and there would be another church. And then we would walk another block, and there would be another church. So I'll start to say to myself, you know, the Christian pastor, he'll say, well, the Lord then came to me, and he wants me to plant a church. He wants me to plant a seed right here on Glenwood, so-and-so and such and such.
Right.
And then another pastor would get the same, I guess, vision. Well, the Lord came to me and said he wanted me to plant a church here, and it's right down the street from that church. Well, what's the problem? What's the confusion?
Right.
Is that one church not good enough that the Lord say, well, you know what? I'm going to have you put a church there, but I want one right down the street from you too.
That's right.
Just in case you run out of room or it's not good enough, they can go to another one.
Right.
And guess what? If that one doesn't work, you can go down the street to another one. But while you're planting all these seeds, nothing's growing from it. Everything is dying. Look around you. Look at the drug addicts. Look at the prostitutes.
Right.
Look at the death that is surrounding all these areas where the church is. That's letting you know that it's a lie. That's letting you know that none of it is real. You're going to find out today, though. You're going to find out that there's no brotherhood in the black church.
That's right.
Get me, if you would, Baba Kasha, 1 Timothy 6 and 10, please. Salakia, I got ahead of myself. Get me 1 John 4, 20 to 21, Baba Kasha, the water. Erskine. Yo, man, Erskine, you there?
I don't
Get me the book of 1 John, chapter 4, verses 20 to 21. Right. I'm gonna. You have that? You have it, Baba Shah?
Lassa, not yet.
Come on, Con. I'll get you to get the next one, Erskine. All right, I don't want.
This is the book of 1 John, chapter 4, and verse 20. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love God, whom hath he not seen?
Right there. Now think about that. These pastors don't love you. You know why? Because they see you.
Right.
They see the people in the community. They see how they're struggling.
Right.
And they'll tell you every single Sunday, we love you. But guess what? They don't do anything to change anything that's going on within your community.
That's right.
We know that love is not just a word. Love is an action. It's not something that you just say. You do. You do love. You show love by going out there and feeding your people.
That's right.
You show love by going out there, teaching them these laws, statutes, and commandments, and bringing them up out of the hell that they're in. Because that's what they're in. The condition that they're living in is hell. While you're trying to live in this beautiful prison that you've created for yourself by selling out your people, our people are in hell.
Right.
So you say that you love them, but the scripture shows that you don't love your brother. How can you say you love God when you don't love the man that you see right next to you on the ground?
That's right.
It's impossible. But every single pastor tells you, I love the Lord. He know what I want. No, you don't love him.
That's right.
You hate your people. That's what you do.
That's right.
Read for me the next verse, sir, 21.
Come on, this is the book of 1 John, chapter 4, verse 21. And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth God love his brother also.
So then there you go. You say you love God, get out there and teach your people these laws, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
Get out there and get them off these drugs. Get out there and show them that there's another way.
Right.
Can you do that? Or do you have the ability to do that, Black Christian pastor? Do you have the ability to do that, TD Jakes?
Right.
Creflo Dollar?
Right.
Do y'all have the ability to go out there and tell them, here is how you keep from being shot 15 times by the police? Here's how you build a nation.
Right.
Here's what you don't do to your brother. Here's what you don't do to your sister.
Right.
Do you have the ability to show them these things? No, you don't. So how can you love them?
That's right.
The love is right there in the scriptures, and it's telling you what you're supposed to do. But you don't have that ability. Young man Erskine. Young man Erskine, you there? Give me the book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6, verse 10. The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 6, verse 10. I want you to understand a couple of things tonight, that you can go back and make sure that you're taking notes so that you can go back and you can look at these things. So when your mama says something to you about your pastor, you can say, well, no, I learned today that my pastor's a liar.
Right.
I learned today that my pastor is a false prophet. I learned today that your pastor doesn't give a damn about the black people.
That's right.
You got that for me, young man Erskine?
First Timothy,
Chapter 6, verse 10. Go ahead.
but is now made manifest. 6 verse. Hold on, that's 2 Timothy.
Young man Erskine.
Sloppy, sir.
Hold on. You got me 1 Timothy, chapter 6 and 10. Go ahead.
For the love of money, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows.
Stop right there. For the love of money is the root of all evil. Your pastors love money. And because they love money, look at the evil that's around them. Look at the evil that's in the community. Look at the evil that's in the church.
That's right.
They love money. They don't give a damn about you. Can any of you on this phone right now tell me that your pastor has done anything pivotal that changed your life? Before you come into the truth, can any of you tell me that your pastor did anything that changed your life? Well, I guess that's my answer.
Right.
I guess that's my answer.
Right.
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. They've done nothing for you. But they'll tell you that they love you. Here in the I.S.U.P.K, we don't just tell you that we love you, we show you.
That's right.
We show you by feeding you. We feed you physically, but we also feed you this word. We feed you by coming out in these streets and warring with you. By showing you, look, here's what you're going through. Here's how to come out of it. Think about this. Every single Saturdays, and I miss several of them, when my brothers are out there on these streets teaching that Valley of the Dry Bones what's going on, where they have to go through people shunning them, scoffing at them, where they could be at home. They could be at home taking it easy. They can go shopping. They could be out there with their ribs. They could be doing anything that they wanted to go do to bring pleasure to their day. But instead, what do? They chose to be out in the streets with you.
Right.
To come out and teach you this truth. While your black Christian pastor is sitting on his ass with a pork chop sandwich, doing nothing, coming up with his next lie he's going to tell you.
That's right.
Preparing his next story that he's going to come in on how I can get more tithes from him.
Right.
What can I say to him to get more money? Haven't you gotten enough? You're worth $27 million.
That's right.
You got $1 million home. You drive a $300,000 car. What more do you need? Oh, you want it all. Who'd you learn that from? You learned that from your pastor.
That's right.
But who led you that way? Michael King. Martin Luther King.
That's right.
When he opened up the doors of his church, he didn't open up to you black people. He opened it up to the white man. Like I said, I'm not going to go into the oppressor. I want to continue to stay on us because we have to do better. And you can do better if you come to the I.S.U.P.K. Because I can tell you here, your tithes will be used properly. Tithing is brotherhood. Understand that. Tithing is brotherhood. I know that when I'm tithing, it's going towards what needs to be done for my people, for my nation. So I give, and I don't give begrudgingly. I love to tithe. I know now I'm doing the work of the Lord. I know who it's going to.
Right.
I don't have to worry about tithing to one of these black Christian pastors and then he go out there and give the money to someone, to one of our oppressors.
That's right.
I don't want to do that. I want it to go to my people. When we were having these food drives out here, we weren't giving the food. We weren't. Now, if an oppressor shows up who's hungry, we don't turn them down. We're not going to be like them.
Right.
But our people who come out here to get that food, we make sure that they're being fed. Now, you'll have these Christian churches will say, well, we're giving out food. They'll do something annually, and it's something about a tax write-off. That's what they're doing it for.
That's right.
But here, we want to make sure that you eat. Come and get this food. Go back and feed your family. It's extremely difficult to go and unload those trucks every single Monday. Unloading all those trucks, going from one truck to another, and then coming back over here to make sure that people are getting fed, then leaving from here, going to other places
Right.
to feed the people. Your black Christian pastors aren't doing that. If they are, they're doing it for a photo op. They want you to see them do it.
That's right.
Here, if you see us doing it, we want to show you that here's what we do. We want to show you that we're not just out here talking the talk. We do what this Bible says. We live this Bible. That's what the I.S.U.P.K. does. Now we're going to continue on these black pastors. If you could, young man Erskine, give me the book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 14, verse 2. I'm going to continue to look at these leaders. You know, the people who are supposed to be speaking for you. Well, I can tell you, no black Christian leader that is outside of the I.S.U.P.K. speaks for me.
That's right.
Commanding Junior Yahanna speaks for me. Every brother that's above me speaks for me. Every brother that's beside me speaks for me. If you're in this truth in the I.S.U.P.K., you speak for me. Outside of that, no.
That's right.
You don't know the truth. So there's nothing that you're going to say that I'm going to line up with. So if it's not coming from us, understand that it's a lie. You have that, young man Erskine?
Kana Wakan.
Go ahead.
The book of Jeremiah 14:2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish.
Go ahead.
They
Now,
are black unto the ground.
All right, you can stop right there. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. Can you tell me what these gates are? Anyone in the call? All right. If I'm go ahead.
The gates would be the gates are for protection. They would be like the so-called pastors supposed to protect the people.
Yeah, your leadership. That's right. Your pastors. But those gates, they can't hold up. Those gates are being knocked down with ease. They're practically opening up the gates and saying, "Come on in. Do whatever you want to do to the people.
Right.
Just make sure that you take care of me on the back end."
Right.
That's what's going on there. Your leaders have failed you, and I know you've heard this before, because they've never known brotherhood. So at what point, brothers and sisters, do you realize that the Christian church is a lie? At what point do you realize that the black Christian church has done nothing but take from you and take from you and has given you nothing? Your black leaders have passed down their hatred for their own people to the younger generation, because they haven't taught them anything, but they have taught them what to do in error. They've taught them how to sin is what they've done. And one of the things that I think about when I think about the black Christian church and the people what it produces. Unfortunately, I've heard my dad talk about these things before. My dad he's 70 years old. He doesn't have a whole lot of patience. He's seen a whole lot. And also he has patience, but when he sees young men that are just acting any type of way, he doesn't have patience for that. And I understand his thought process, being 70 and what he's seen in his life. But we still have to understand that we can't put that all on them. It comes from the leadership. For example, he can see that, okay, he's 70 years old, I'm 45. Now I went out there and I've done all kind of hell. And it wasn't for lack of having a father there, because my parents have been married for 50 years. It's because I lived in an area where I had to do certain things. But then when I left and got out of those places, I chose to do certain things. But my dad did try to teach me what he knew to be right. He would always say to me, make sure that you do the right thing. Although he wasn't telling me the law, statutes, and commandments, he still was trying to give me some semblance of what the truth was. So think about the young brothers that are out there and the things that they do, and the fact that they didn't have fathers to raise them up. All they had was a mother to raise them up, or they had the hood or the street to raise them up. And something that, if I could quote Captain Kahan Thamyad, who came down to Atlanta some weeks ago, a month or so ago, one of the things he said was, you can't blame a 70-year-old problem on 16 and 17-year-old boys.
Right.
So when you look at the black Christian church and these old pastors and deacons and whomever, and they coming out and they're saying all kind of stuff, and look at the young man over there doing this and the drug selling and this and that and the other. Well, guess what? Had you told them the truth, maybe they wouldn't be doing the things that they're doing.
That's right.
See, the problem started from the top, and it trickled down to the bottom.
That's right.
You don't start from the bottom and go up. It started from the top. The leadership did not do its job. So now the I.S.U.P.K is repairing all of the garbage that you've done. Go ahead. Somebody say something? All right. So as I was saying, it started from the top, but the I.S.U.P.K is now here to repair everything that these black pastors have done. We're out here trying to teach you these truths,
Right.
trying to show you the things that you were taught in the Bible were actually falsehoods, trying to show you that they have never, ever told you the truth. You have wasted every single Sunday for the last however many years you've been going to church listening to lies. But now you have the I.S.U.P.K.
That's right.
The home of the truth. This is the only place where you're going to get the truth. And understand that. The Christian church has destroyed black families. They've destroyed brotherhood. They've left you naked with no answers. But the I.S.U.P.K. has the answers.
That's right.
We have all the answers. Any and everything that you want to know, you'll find out here through us. If I don't know it, the brother above me will know it. And if he doesn't know it, the brother above him will know it. And if he doesn't know it, it'll go on up until it gets to Commanding General Yahanna, and I can guarantee you he will know the answer. So it stops here. Come here to the I.S.U.P.K. if you want to know how to get out of the plight of the black man and black women. Now, understand, when I say black men and black women, I'm talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. I'm covering us all because we're all in this together. We're all brothers and sisters, and we're all going through the same thing. So understand, when I say black, I'm speaking of a condition when I'm talking about that, but I'm speaking of all of Israel.
That's right.
So I'm going to give you more on the Christian church and how much it hates blacks. The population of blacks in America is 41.99 million. So let's go ahead and say that's 42 million blacks in America. 42 million. And compared to how many people are here, how many people are in this country, 42 million isn't many people. We make up, what, 13% of the population.
Right.
But of that 13% of the population that we make up, the 41.99 million, the black Christian church since the 1980s up until 2021, we'll say 2020, has made $600 billion within tithes or donations. $600 billion. Now, before I go into how grossly insane and disgusting that is, think about what the I.S.U.P.K. would have done with that type of money. $600 billion. What Commanding General Yahanna could have done? There wouldn't be one person right now on the street. There wouldn't be one starving person. Everyone would have a roof over their head. 42 million people? That's not a lot of people. $600 billion spread amongst 41 million? If you're a mathematician, you know the numbers on that. You know the numbers on that. That's absolutely insane to me. So you have to ask yourself, what has the black Christian church done with that money? Since the 80s, what has the black Christian church done with $600 billion?
Right.
There is no explanation that you can give me to where I can look outside the window of this school right here where we are on Glenwood and see brothers out there begging for money. Brothers outside their mind because they need food or they don't know how they're going to make ends meet. And the black Christian church has made $600 billion. I didn't say million, 600 billion. I just don't get it. I don't understand how we can see what's going on within our communities. And the black church has done that, and that wealth has not come back into our communities.
That's right.
If it hasn't come back to us, where's it gone?
Right.
It's gone to your oppressors. It's gone to these black so-called leaders' bank accounts. It's gone into their wardrobes. It's gone into their homes.
Right.
See, what he's done, he's put back a nest egg for his family.
That's right.
But he's done nothing for the people. We don't operate like that here in the I.S.U.P.K.
Right.
If I have it, my brother has it.
That's right.
You're not going to go hungry here. You're not going to not get your bills paid here. We look out for our people here in the I.S.U.P.K. because we understand the truth. We understand the need for brotherhood. We understand that we are a nation that has to come together. And we have to do it. We have to do it, in the words of T.I., expeditiously.
Right.
Because these black Christian pastors are bleeding the bank. They're bleeding you dry of every single dime that you make. You bust your butt to make sure I'm going to get in here. I'm going to get my pastor my tithes and make sure he gets it.
Right.
He got to have it. But yet, Sister Jenkins can't pay her phone bill. You got brothers who don't know how they're going to get their mortgage paid, but they're in that church. You can go to any mega church and throw a rock and hit somebody who's living check to check. They're making sure that you get your tithe,
Right.
but they won't check on you to say, hey, sister, is there anything that you need? I know here in the I.S.U.P.K, brothers will call me. That's one of the things that brought me on into the school. Although, when I was listening to General Yahanna, General Mahyman, I was listening to his classes, and of course that right there sold me. I knew that it was the truth when I heard him. Right. But one of the things that got me was Officer Akaz, and this was right around the time that the coronavirus was starting. And he called me because I just started coming to the school, and he called me and said, I was just calling to see if there's anything that you need. How many people are in your family? Do y'all need water, food, anything? Right. And when he said that, my mouth hit the floor. Because in the world, I operated like that with people, but I never received it back. That's right. I never knew what it was for someone to call me and say, hey, are you okay? This brother didn't know me as the saying goes from a hole in the wall, but he called to see what myself and or my family needed. That's right. That right there is brotherhood. Right. He knew that I, being a brother coming to this truth, let me call him to see if he's okay. And he didn't even know me. But you got and matter of fact, I hadn't even tithed yet. I hadn't given anything. I just started coming into the truth. Right. And he checked on me to make sure that all my needs were taken care of. But your Christian pastor, he wants to know, well, how long you been at the church? Right. Oh, well, what's your tithe game like? Right. Somebody go in there and tell me what Sister Jenkins has been tithing. Oh, she ain't tithed in the last 2 weeks? No, we can't pay her phone bill. Nah, she got to be tithing for at least 2-3 years before we pay a phone bill. That's right. And then she still might not get it. Because the Lord might want you to go through something. He wants to teach you a lesson, sister, so it ain't gonna be up to me to stop the Lord's work. That's what he'll tell you. That's the reason why he won't give it to you. He gonna tell you, what does he say? We gonna pray for Sister Jenkins so she can get her phone bill paid. Right. Although the phone bill might be $102 and he got $5,000 in his pocket. We gonna pray for her. Right. That's what we gonna do. That's your black Christian pastor. Your black Christian pastor has been stealing from the community. He's been stealing from the people who need it. Let me tell you who he's been stealing from. He's been stealing from the widows. Right. He's been stealing from the sick. He's been stealing from the poor. He's been stealing from the elderly. That's who he's been stealing from.
Thank you, sir, if I may.
Go ahead.
Come on, sir, real heavy, if I may. You know, the pastor going to ask you everything is that what he needs to be asking you. You know, he's going to ask you, well, hey, is that your woman? Are you divorced yet? You know, and he's going to ask you, how much you got in your bank account? Are you Libra? And if you're not compatible, if you're not a Democrat, even he ain't even going to try to help you.
Right. You're exactly right. It's heavy. You're exactly right. He going to ask you, what's your sign? Are you a Libra? Oh, no, we can't talk then. Right. We can't talk then. Oh, you live how far from the church? That's a little bit too close. I don't want to be too messy. That's what he wants to know, all those things. Right. But he don't want to know what your problems are. He want to know what your name is, what your size. Can he hit that from behind? Salakia. Right. That's what he wants to know. But you have to understand that the blood of the congregation is on the pastor's hands. That's right. The blood of the congregation is on the pastor's hands. Young man Erskine, are you there?
I don't know.
Give me the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verses 1 and 2. The book of We'll show you just how much of a snake your pastors are. Jeremiah 23, verses 1 and 2.
You
have it?
Jeremiah 23. Jeremiah 23 and 1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, God of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people.
Hold on a second.
Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited it. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doing, saith the Lord.
All right, hold it right there. Verse 1, woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord. Woe be unto the pastors. Read that to your mama. Read that to your mama the next time she say to you, when you gonna come to church with me? How come you don't celebrate Mother's Day with me? Why'd you leave the church? Because woe be unto the pastor that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord. That's because the Lord said it. You love the Lord? That's what you're asking about. Do you love the Lord? Well, here's what the Lord says. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people, ye have scattered my flock and driven them away. Think about that. You scattered his flock and driven them away.
That's right.
You haven't told us the truth. A lot of these pastors know that you're Israel, but they haven't told you. A lot of these pastors, instead of telling you the truth about who you are, they just want to take your money from you.
That's right.
They want to make it so that you have nothing, but make sure that you give. And they'll tell you, even though you have your last dime, well, just give it to me. The Lord will take care of you. He got you if you got faith. That's what he'll tell you. But he's letting you know, woe unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord. Therefore, thus said,
yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yes, if I could, sir, I want to ask about a precept.
Is this Trooper Makwalat?
You come, sir, Shalom, Lord Christ, out of one.
Shalom, Lord Christ, sir. Ak. Go ahead.
I come, sir. Matthew chapter 23, verse 25.
Let me get there with you just a second.
Another one come.
You said Matthew 23 and 25?
Another one come, sir.
Go ahead and read that.
Another one come. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 23, verse 25. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye make clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and insolence. The reason why I want to ask about that precept, sir, because of what you were bringing out, about how they robbed the church, just robbing the people, you know what I mean? Like, poor grandma just been getting in the church, sitting in the church and, you know what I'm saying, getting robbed her whole life, you know what I mean? And it just so crazy because just like they followed the devil, you know what I'm saying, the black Christian leaders had learned how to, you know what I'm saying, rob niggas without chains, without guns, by using those smooth words, you know what I mean? That's like
Right, let me see here. That's like I want to ask you real quick. He wants to know if it's a precept for what I've been discussing out of Matthew 25 and, 26? I'll read it. No, it's 25. It says here, woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye make clean the outside of the cup and the platter, but within they are full of extortions and excess. Yeah, that can be Trooper Mark a lot. Yes, that's definitely a precept. And I believe when I'm talking about these pastors now, the pastor that I'm talking about now, those would have been the Pharisees then. So yes, that can definitely be a precept. I just want to make sure.
the water, sir.
On you at a bar. Now let's see here. Young man Erskine, you already read Jeremiah 1 and 2 for me, correct?
God.
Excellent. Now I want you to get me the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verses 9 and 10. And read it when you got it.
God. Isaiah 30, 9 and 10. That this is a rebellious people, lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord.
Stop right there.
10.
Stop right there, that this is a rebellious people, a lying children that will not hear the law of the Lord. That's in your Christian church. They're being rebellious. and they don't want to hear the law of the Lord, nor do they want to. They don't want to operate in the law, nor will they hear it, and their pastor isn't teaching them it either. So they're rebellious children, and they're lying children. Go ahead and read verse 10 for me, Baba Kashai.
Not Khan, which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things, speak unto us smooth things, prophecy deceits.
Salakia. All right, yeah, that's prophesy deceits.
Prophesy.
Which
prophesy deceits.
Excellent. That's it. Which say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not unto us right things. Speak unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. So they want to hear lies. You know, you've been sitting in that muck, in that dung all this time, and you don't want to hear the truth. You want to hear smooth things. You want to be lied to. Because, what is it? You've been given over to it.
Right.
That's what you want. That's why it's so difficult when we're trying to talk to these rebellious people, these rebellious Israelites. When you try to tell them, here's what the truth is, but they don't want to hear it because their pastors have told them what they wanted to hear. And by their pastors telling them what they wanted to hear, they have sent them to their grave. And the pastor, like I said, it's on the pastor's hands. So what we're discussing tonight, all these verses are basically precepts breaking down your Christian pastor, your black Christian pastor, and how he's been lying to you, how he doesn't show you brotherhood, how he actually hates you, how he's trying to destroy you, he's trying to destroy the nation, how he's going against the Most High. That's what he's doing. Now, there are some black pastors out there who are waking up. There's some that are giving their churches away, that are walking away from it because they realize they've woken up and they're saying, okay, I've been wrong for what I've been doing. I've been taking from my people.
Right.
I've been stealing from them all this time. But you're going to learn.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, my blood.
So, cuz we're so heavy about what you bringing out, sir, if I could. You know what I'm saying? It's so crazy because I know, like, when I came into the truth, you know what I mean? I was like, man, because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking about the people that I grew up from, you know, the church, you know what I mean, the people of the church. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe they just don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, how could, you know what I'm saying? Like, how the Lord say, woe to the, you know what I'm saying, the pastor that started, that scheduled the flock. I'm like, but maybe they just don't know, you know what I'm saying? And I understand that could be true. You know what I mean? Like, I want to, like, I don't know, like, I don't even want to say that, but I understand now why the Lord say that, because, like, even if you don't know the whole law, for you to sit out there and say that you can do whatever you want to, Jesus died for your sins, you ain't got to do that right. Like, man, I mean, like, what's the point of the church, man? Like, what we doing here? Like, why am I here paying you if I can go out here and do what I want to do?
You're
like,
right.
Come on, man, make it make sense. Fuck you, sir.
No, you're right. As I was reading earlier, the scripture said that they go to them, but they have no cure. The evil hasn't changed around them. So you're exactly right. Nothing has changed. And you're right. Why go to them? Because when people go to church, they initially go in there because they feel like they need a sense of security. Right. They feel like they're going to a place where they're learning something, where they're praying the Lord. And see, praying to the Lord. But see, a lot of brothers and sisters, as the scripture says, they have a lot of zeal, but not according to knowledge. But after you've been in there for so long, go ahead.
See, that's just what's so heavy about it, because, like, if you can do what you want to, God love everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just pray and everything, just peaches and cream every day. What is the point of going to learn? You ain't got to learn this. You know all you need to know. All you got to do is just wake up and just do what you want to. God will forgive you for everything. Like, you going to take it, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? And that just go to show you that wickedness and that hypocritical bone in your body that you know you need to take out, man. Because, like, if not, then why would you even waste your time with a church, with the Bible, with God? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like,
right. No, I understand it. And here's what it is. Here's what it boils down to. The Christian church doesn't hold you accountable. There's no accountability. There's no reason for you to change. So when you go to the Christian church and you realize, oh, okay, well, all I have to do is this, you think you're good then. Or, I can just go and I can pray, or I can throw up a couple Hail Marys and I'm good. You right.
Right.
No, I understand it. And here's what it is. Here's what it boils down to. The Christian church doesn't hold you accountable. There's no accountability. There's no reason for you to change. So when you go to the Christian church and you realize, oh, okay, well, all I have to do is this, you think you're good then. Or I can just go and I can pray, or I can throw up a couple Hail Marys and I'm good. That's what they do in the Catholic Church. But you can just go to pray. You can pull out your pocket Jesus, pull it out, say a prayer, and you're good. Everything's squared off. There's no accountability. There's no reason for you to change. That's why people can't hold up in the I.S.U.P.K. That's why you have these fake Israelite groups out here, because they couldn't come in here and do what they were supposed to do. They couldn't stand and be obedient. They couldn't stand and say kano and khan. They couldn't stand and do what they were supposed to do and follow the orders of men above them who were placed in that place to tell them what they needed to do. Because they couldn't do it, because they didn't like what they were hearing, they left. That's why you have a Christian church for people like them. The fake Israelites out there are all Christians. The Christian church, I mean, we know what they are. No accountability. Do whatever you want. Why change? Think about it. How easy is it to be a Christian?
Right.
You can wake up in the morning and be like, you know what? I'm not going. I'm just going to stay here and I'm going to watch it on TV and send a tithe in and everything's good.
Right.
I don't have to go and feed the people. I don't have to do anything. I'm just going to ask the Lord to forgive me. And that's it.
Right.
And that's why your ass is dead.
That's right.
That's why you need the I.S.U.P.K. to show you that you are dying and you're rotting from the inside and that we can smell your stench because you know no truth.
That's right.
So believe me, I understand exactly what you're saying. You know, and getting back to these pastors and how they've been stealing from us. Young man Erskine. Give me the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 10. We're going to show you how your pastor, he doesn't follow the law, but he wants to make sure that he gets them tithes out of you. We're going to show you how he's been stealing from you. Let me know when you have it. When you have it, go ahead and read it.
The book of Malachi, 3 verse 10. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house, and prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven, and pour you out a blessing, that there shall not be room enough to receive it.
All right, stop right there. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse. He didn't say give all your tithes to the pastor. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house. The pastor has stolen all that.
That's right.
He's stolen all that meat. He's taken every bit of it to where Israel can't go and get anything from him.
Right.
That's why they're out here starving in the street. That's why they can't pay their bills. That's why you have prostitutes out here. You got sisters out here selling ass so they can make sure that their children eat.
Right.
And that's unfortunate. Now, the I.S.U.P.K, we're here. We can assist in that. We can stop you from going through that because your Christian pastor won't, because he's taken all the food from the storehouse and stored it up for himself, is what he has done.
Right.
But he's going to pay for the things that he's done.
That's right.
You know, that's why tonight, as a priest and prophet of the Lord, that's why I'm prophesying against these prophets. These so-called prophets. If you would, Baba Kashai, young man Erskine, give me the book of Ezekiel, chapter 13, verses 1, 2, and 3. The book of Ezekiel. Because it's go ahead.
Do Proverbs 17 and 23 go with what you were saying about like how the pastors robbed the church for money? How you was just bringing that out, sir?
Proverbs 17 and 23.
Found another one coming.
Let's see here what we have. I'll go ahead and read it for time's sake. A wicked man taketh a gift out of the bosom to pervert the ways of judgment. Right. You could use it for that, but that could be anyone. You know, you could use it in this context for in a teaching, I guess you can say, but you could use that for anybody.
Right, come to words, sir.
I got a bar. Young man Erskine.
God.
You get that for me in Ezekiel?
Ezekiel 1.
Ezekiel 13, verse 1, 2, and 3.
Ezekiel 13. Khan.
Go ahead.
And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophecy against the prophets of Israel, that prophecy.
Stop right there.
And say,
Stop right there, Erson. It says here, Son of man, prophesy. That's prophesy. Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel that prophesy, and say that thou unto them that prophesy out of their own hearts, hear ye the words of the Lord. These prophets are speaking to you what they think, because they know nothing. But it's telling us to prophesy against the prophets of Israel that prophesy. So that's what I'm doing right now. These pastors have been prophesying from their heart, telling you lies. Heart meaning their mind. They're devising these schemes, and these schemes are get-rich-quick schemes because they aren't telling you the truth. So our job is to go against them. When they're out here telling our people these lies, our job is to be able to battle them and to show our people that what they're saying is false. As I was talking about earlier, how he said that they acted as though they were sent. They were never sent. No one sent them. Yet they ran like they were told, but they don't know the word. They ran and told lies, and you listened to them because you didn't go to check and see yourself if they were telling you the truth. You just follow. You follow the shiny suit and shiny shoes, and you listen to smooth words. That's all the Christian church is based on. How you can look. It's keeping up with the Joneses in the Christian church.
That's right.
If this brother has that, then I need to make sure I get it. See, in the Christian church, they count your pockets.
Right.
They look at you. They say, "Oh well, he drives this. Oh, and let me see what his wife looks like. Okay, she looks like that. What kind of purse does she have?" They're counting your pockets to see. Oh, well, somebody approach them and see if they want to be a part of this committee. They don't want to know nothing about you. They've already sized you up by what you have on,
Right.
by where it looks like you might live and what you're driving. They don't want to see how do I put it, the conduct of your character. They want to know. They don't want to know if you know anything of the truth, because you know why? Because they don't know the truth. So if they don't have a standard of what the truth is, they definitely aren't trying to see what you know, but they do want to see what you have, what you can give them.
That's right.
That's what's going on there. We're going to hit one more verse before I shut it down. Young man, can give me the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, verse 7. This right here is going to seal the deal with you black Christian pastors. I'm going to let you know that it has been a sin of what you've been doing, how you've been taking from us, stealing from us, and using us.
That's right.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, verse 7.
Khan. Deuteronomy 24, verse 7. If a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him, or selleth him, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put evil away from among you.
All right. Just for edification purposes and to go a little bit deeper on that first part of it, says, if a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him. He has been making merchandise of us. He has been stealing from us.
That's right.
He has been selling us out. That's what your black Christian pastors have done. It is telling you right here, if a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel, and maketh merchandise of him. Understand that. That's what the black Christian pastors have been doing. They've been stealing from us and making merchandise of us.
Right.
They've been doing it for years. Who they learned that from? They learned it obviously from their pastor, but who was the catalyst for it? Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King gave them the blueprint, and they followed after him. Not that they weren't cooning and shucking and jiving before him, but he really pushed it.
That's right.
And then they continued to do it. Because of Martin Luther King, you have a T.D. Jakes. Because of Martin Luther King, you have a Creflo Dollar. Because of Martin Luther King, you had an Eddie Long. Because of Martin Luther King, you have all these black pastors in these black churches that are doing absolutely nothing for the children of Israel.
That's right.
They're destroying us, is what they're doing.
Right.
But I'm here to let you know right now there's a home that you can come to. And that's the home of the truth in the I.S.U.P.K.
Damn right.
And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Priest and Officer of 500, Nakashawan.
We are the I.S.U.P.K. Started out on 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are they are to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and the sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. It's in Numbers 18 and 21, and Malachi 3, 8 and 10 means 10th, Masha'ara means 10th in Hebrew. 10% of every penny, any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or the teacher. Priest fund is a free will offering, not mandatory. Whatever amount you decide to give, that's the amount that you give. Upcoming holy convocations, we have the Feast of First Fruit on Sunday, June the 20th. Any Akim that want to come into the school, start wearing all black, shirt, pants, head, and a war scarf and boots. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Majim, which means to stand. Amajim Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Barakatham. There are no sisters in the school at this particular time. Yazmatah, hands down. Class is missed.